In 53 BC, Marcus Licinius Crassus commanded 7 Roman legions into Parthian territory, roughly 40,000 men. He never brought them back. Crassus was not incompetent. He had crushed the Spartacus revolt, governed Syria, shared power with Julius Caesar and Pompey in Rome's first triumvirate. He understood military doctrine. He had resources. He had experience. He also had a map that no longer matched the ground beneath him. And his entire system was designed to conceal that fact. By the 1st century BC, Rome had perfected a military doctrine built on infantry discipline, close formations, territorial control, shock tactics. This approach had defeated Rome's enemies for generations. Roman success was not accidental. It was systematic. Crassus understood, in theory, that Parthian forces fought differently. Mounted archers, mobile cavalry, a style of warfare Rome had not mastered. But understanding in theory is not the same as adjusting in practice. Roman intelligence on Parthian tactics existed, but it was filtered through categories built by earlier victories. Scouts reported what they were trained to see. Advisors recommended what had worked before. Local allies warned against the terrain. Crassus rejected their guidance. He chose a desert route that maximized logistical vulnerability. When Parthian forces engaged near Carrhae, they refused static battle. They stayed mobile. They attacked from distance. They withdrew and returned. Roman infantry formations could not adapt. Roman cavalry was destroyed. Crassus sent his son forward. He was isolated, surrounded, killed. Of the original 40,000 men, perhaps 10,000 returned. This was not a failure of information. It was a failure of interpretation. Crassus received warnings, but his decision system was optimized for a different kind of war. Roman doctrine assumed enemies who resembled Rome. Infantry-based, predictable, territory-focused. The intelligence apparatus answered Roman questions, not Parthian ones. The Parthians did not defeat Rome's strength. They defeated Rome's assumptions. Here is the mechanism. Dominance in one environment builds systems that prevent adaptation in another. Success trains organizations to recognize confirming signals. It builds filters that suppress contradictory information. When conditions change, the system continues functioning normally, while producing increasingly irrelevant answers. This is not resistance to change. It is structural inability to perceive that change is necessary. Metrics still validate the approach. Advisors still recommend familiar tactics. Execution still appears competent. Everything functions as designed until the design no longer fits reality. Consider a company expanding into a new market. The product works. The team is experienced. Internal data confirms the strategy. But that data comes from systems built for previous success. Customer feedback, pricing models, and competitive analysis are all shaped by assumptions that no longer apply. The company is not ignoring warnings. It is operating in an environment where warnings cannot form. When the expansion fails, the explanation focuses on execution, rarely on structure. Crassus died because the map in his head no longer matched the ground beneath him, and his entire system was designed to conceal that mismatch. This is how dominant systems fail. Not from weakness, from strength that has hardened into structure. Collapse is often decided early, long before failure becomes visible. The map lies longest when it has worked before.